Hello. So this just came out, I think today, 24th of January. That's when I'm recording this. Who knows when you'll actually see it, but I just went to the store and bought one. And now, let's open it. Oh, there's my camera. I got a little knife. Got it for Christmas. Christmas. I also got a microphone, like boom arm thing. So now the microphone isn't on the table. Well, it's connected to the table still, but it's not like on, I don't know how to say it except on the table, which just makes me sound like I'm repeating myself. Oh, my cat wants in. He's like, I know you're doing fun things in there. It's the plastic. We can play with that more later. So, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Theros Beyond Death. With 10 boosters. I think the last one of these I ever did, they were still only at 9 boosters. So, it has an insert, so let's check out this insert. Explore our comprehensive library of magic knowledge. Browse all the this is just an ad for gatherer.com. Follow Elspeth as she battles her way out of the underworld. mtgstory.com. Didn't she die in the original Theros block? So I guess now that's why she's battling her way out of the underworld, huh? Oops. So this has got Elspeth and a hooded figure behind her, and some kind of trident, bident looking thing. Oh, the guy behind her has a bident. I wonder if that's... Didn't one of the gods have a bident? I don't know, it's been a while. Theros was the first set that came out after I got really into magic, so it has a special place in my heart. I also just really like Greek and Roman mythology, so it has a double special place in my heart. Alright, let's keep looking at things. So this is what made the things beep at the store as I left. And I walked right by some clerks. Oh, I need to let my other cat out of this room now. Anyway, so I was walking out of the room, or the store, and I walked right by 2 store employees, and the little thing that keeps you from leaving if you have a stolen goods started beeping, and I just was like, what do I do? And they were like, just go. So, yeah. This is a neat little box. I don't know what it could be for, but makes me feel like I got more out of my money. Here's the nice box from the bundle. Magic the Gathering. And here's the spin down life counter. It's very mint colored. It's not really coming out too well, but I think mint is the best word to describe what color it is. Oh, this is neat. It's another little box. They keep adding value to these boxes. I thought they were like gonna get rid of them at some point, and then they just didn't. And I'm very glad that they didn't, because this is probably my favorite product. Oh, this is really cool. So the box is a trapezoid. And I imagine that it sits, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, like I was saying, this is probably my favorite product that they make besides the cards. Just in terms of like stuff, because it comes with a nice little box and all that. Let's see. So we got two little inserts. Don't really know much about that. We got some lands. We can look at those in a bit. And it looks like we got Arasta of the Endless Web, rather. Legendary enchantment creature, spider. I don't like spiders in real life. And I won't like actively touch the photos of them, but this one's okay, I guess. Say 2 colorless, 2 green with a reach. It's a 3/5. That's not terrible, is it? Whenever an opponent casts an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Her webs, spun from her own hair, reach from Nyx to the mortal world and even into the underworld. That's kind of creepy. My cat really wants in. I don't know if you can hear his meows, but I can. He's like, let me in. So this pack is probably the foil lands and promo card. These are some good looking lands. Ooh, I like this mountain. But I think my favorite is this island right here. Look at that. That's really cool looking. 20 foil lands. An alternate art promo of some rare card. Arasta of the Endless Web. I'll get that right someday, but for now. Let's see what the other lands look like. They're probably just the same. In fact, I know they are, but they're not foil. Sweet. I'm really happy with that. They just keep adding value to something that already made me happy. And I think that's beautiful. So this is the real star of the show, as it were. We've got some kind of three-headed puppy. Some dude. That's probably Elspeth. Another dog. Another dude. Another Elspeth. A dog. A dude. A dog. A dude. Alright, so set these off to the side and start with this one. Oh boy. So, first card we got. Sorry, I won't spoil it. We got Karametra's Blessing. 1 white, instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn if it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature. It also gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, which means it can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, and damage and effects that say destroy, don't destroy it. What a happy looking elk. Everyone's trying to stab him and he's just like, no man, I'm an elk. We got Triumphant Surge, 3 colorless and a white, instant. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. You gain 3 life. Not even death can quench a hero's inner fire. Elspeth just killing fools. Farka's Libation, 2 colorless and a black, instant. Choose one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. Target opponent sacrifices an enchantment. If you will not pour your drink out for me, I shall pour mine out for you. That makes no sense. Blight Breath, Catoblepas, I don't know how to say it. 4 colorless and 2 black. It's a beast creature. When Blight Breath enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to black. Each black and the mana costs of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to black. Wherever it walks, famine follows behind. Say 3/2. Yeah, I'd say that breath is pretty blighty. Ichthyomorphosis. Cool. 2 colorless and a blue. It's an enchantment aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is a blue fish with base power and toughness 0/1. Ticthus's military career was a flop. Hero of the Games. 2 colorless and a red It's a human soldier creature. It's a 3/2. And whenever you cast a spell that targets hero of the games, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Winners of the Iroan games are forever remembered as heroes of their people. Moss Viper. Costs a single green. It's a 1/1 snake creature with Death Touch. Nylia watches over all the creatures of the forest, except for the snakes. Blessed by Farika, they can take care of themselves. That's silly. Final Death. 4 colorless and a black. Instant. Exile target creature. The underworld erodes memory, identity, and eventually the physical form, leaving only crumbling statues called Misera, hollow monuments to mortal futility. That's fun. Captivating Unicorn. 4 colorless and a white. A 4/4 unicorn creature with Constellation. That says whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. Gazing at the unicorn, I felt closer to the majesty of Nyx than I had ever felt before, said Oeneus, traveling merchant. Stern Dismissal. Costs 1 blue. It says it's an instant, and it says return target creature or enchantment and opponent controls to its owner's hand. Cities offer tribute to Ephara and carve her image into their walls, imploring her to protect them from the dangers of the wild. Entrancing Lyre. 3 colorless artifact. The first uncommon of the... I keep wanting to call them fat packs, but they're called bundles now. You may choose not to untap Entrancing Lyre during your untap step. Pay X and tap. Tap target creature with power X or less. Excuse me. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as Entrancing Lyre remains tapped. Underworld Dreams. 3 black enchantment. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. Dreams are just one more form of torment. Hopefully I'll remember to edit out that cough. Drag to the Underworld. 2 colorless and 2 black instant. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is your devotion to black. That's nice. Each black and the mana costs of permanents you control count towards your devotion to black. Destroy target creature. The more you struggle against death, the tighter its grip becomes. Whoa, Strider. It's like, whoa there, buddy, but, sadness. 2 colorless and a black. It's a horror creature. And our first rare. When Woe Strider enters the battlefield, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Sacrifice another creature. Scry 1. Escape. 3 colorless and 2 black. Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Woe Strider escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It's a 3/2. And we got a lovely full art forest that looks like some broccoli. And a Kraken creature token. With hexproof, this creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control. It's an 8/8. I really like that forest. I didn't know that they had full art lands in this set. On to our next booster, yeah? It's one with this dude on it. I don't know who he is. Is that my head? Sure looks like it. That's my hand moving. Huh. My poor cat, he's like, let me in. Alright, let us continue with Varika's Libation. 2 colorless and a black instant. Choose one. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, or target opponent sacrifices an enchantment. It's the pouring drink lady. Omen of the Sun. This is quite a trippy image to look at. 2 colorless and a white enchantment with flash. When Omen of the Sun enters the battlefield, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens, and you gain 2 life. This boy is sad. Pay 2 colorless and a white, sacrifice Omen of the Sun. Scry 2. Chain to Memory. 3, nope, only 1 blue, not 3, just 1. Instant. Target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn. Scry 2. Those who do not learn from their mistakes are bound to relive them. Bright Bleth Berkleple. I'll get it right one of these days. Probably not today though. 4 colorless and 2 black. It's a beast creature. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent gets -X/-X, blah blah blah. We've been over this. Venomous Hierophant. 3 colorless and a black Gorgon Cleric creature with Death Touch. It's a 3/3 also. When Venomous Hierophant enters the battlefield, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Many have sought snake-twined Varika's panacea. Do you wish to share their fate? Not particularly, but what choice do I have? Final Flare. 2 colorless and a red. Instant. As an additional cost to this spell, sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Final Flare deals 5 damage to target creature. Those who fought without honor in life are taken to Agonas and doomed to fight forever in its arenas. Witness of Tomorrows. 4 colorless and a blue. Sphinx enchantment creature. It's a 3/4 with flying. Pay 3 colorless and a blue to scry 1. As the future slips its way into the present, it ceases to be my concern. I'm going to use that from now on. When people are like, why didn't you do anything about that? I'll be like, as the future slips into the present. And then they'll slap me and be like, that's not a valid excuse. Scophos War Leader. 4 colorless and a red Minotaur warrior creature. Pay 1 red and sacrifice another creature or an enchantment. Scophos War Leader gets +1/+0 and gains menace until end of turn. It can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. It's a 4/5. The Minotaur Polis of Scophos boasts grand temples to the god of slaughter. Warbriar Blessing. 1 colorless and a green. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature you control. Where Warbriar Blessing enters the battlefield, enchanted creature fights up to 1 target creature you don't control. Each deals damage equals to its power to the other. Enchanted creature gets +0/+2. Triton Wave Rider. 3 colorless and a blue. Merfolk Wizard creature. It's a 3/3 with Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Triton Wave Rider gains flying until end of turn. You can no more stop me than you can halt the tide. Agonizing Remorse. A colorless and a black sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it or a card from their graveyard. Exile that card. You lose 1 life. The sharp memory of Daxus's death stabbed into Elspeth's soul. Well, I don't remember who Daxus is, but unless he was like that hero guy, in that case I have a vague memory. Fateful End. 2 colorless and a red instant. Fateful End deals 3 damage to any target. That's a fun way of saying to target. Okay, I'll accept it. Scry 1. Everything will be put back in its proper place, says Clothis, god of destiny. Chainweb Arachneer. 1 green spider creature with reach. When Chainweb Arachneer enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent controls. And it has escape. 3 colorless and 2 green. Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Chainweb Arachneer escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. And our land is Temple of Malice. Yes! Temple of Malice enters the battlefield tapped. When Temple of Malice enters the battlefield, scry 1. Tap to add a black or a red. Awesome. Ooh, and a plains. It's a nice looking full art plains. Another insert. I'm quite pleased with this. Alright, I didn't look up what cards were in this set that I would want, because I only have 10 shots to get rare cards. Well, not really, it's probably more like, well, we'll call it 10, but yeah. Hope I get something good. I mean, I did just get something good, but I don't play black-red very often. I mostly play red and green, or like red and blue, or something with white, but not black and red. Alright, for our next booster, we have Sentinel's Eyes. 1 white, enchantment aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Escape, 1 white. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Inspire Awe, 3 colorless and a green. Instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn, except combat damage that would be dealt by enchanted creatures and enchantment creatures. Scry 2. Nylia appeared amid a howl of 100 beasts, and everyone cheered. Underworld Charger, 2 colorless and a black. Nightmare Horse creature. Is that a horse? Yeah, it kind of is. Underworld Charger can't block. Escape for 4 black and 4 colorless and a black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Underworld Charger escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Say 3/3. An Indomitable Will. 1 colorless and a 1 white. Enchantment Aura with Flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+2. Charge bravely. Fight selflessly. Act honorably. Iroas will watch over you, said Varanus, priest of Iroas. Portent of Betrayal. 3 colorless and a black sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. Mogus can fan a small flame of resentment into an inferno of madness. Brine Giant, 6 colorless and a blue. Giant creature. This spell costs 1 colorless less to cast for each enchantment you control. The oracles of Meletis foresaw neither its rise from the depths nor the destruction it would leave in its wake. It is a 5/6. That's an interesting one. Hero of the Games, 2 colorless and a red. Human soldier creature. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Games, creatures you control will get +1/+0 until end of turn. Winners of the Iroan Games are forever remembered as heroes of their people. Say 3/2. Elysian Caryatid. 1 colorless and 1 green. Plant creature. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, add 2 mana of any 1 color instead. That's cool. Those who die as heroes are permitted to dwell in Elysia, a protected realm of the underworld, as tranquil and vibrant as the rest is bleak. Nyxborn Brute, 3 colorless and 2 red. It's an enchantment creature, Cyclops. It's a 7/3. One-eyed and frightful, the Cyclops lifted a boulder and hurled it seaward from the cliff's edge, shattering the masts and scattering sailors. The Caliphea. Final death. 4 colorless and a red. Exile target creature. It's an instant. The underworld erodes memory, identity, and eventually the physical form, leaving only crumbling statues called Misera, hollow monuments to mortal futility. Minions return. 2 colorless and a black. Enchantment aura. Flash. Enchant creature. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. As a mortal, Phoenix was the first to escape the underworld. As a god, he brings his pawns along the same dark path. Spooky. Citizen Petitioner. 1 colorless and 2 green. Human druid creature. When Citizen Petitioner enters the battlefield, you gain life equal to your devotion to green. Each green in the mana costs of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to green. Cypress leaves for family. Cypress leaves for family. Larkspur for protection. Amaranth for a bountiful harvest. Took me a while. She's a 2/2. Took me a while to figure out what was being said in that card. Shimmerwing Chimera. 3 colorless and a blue. Enchantment creature Chimera with flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return up to 1 other target enchantment you control to its owner's hand. It swims upon the winds and soars through the waves. It's a 3/2. Who's the rare? Citizen Champion. 2 colorless and a green. Human warrior creature with constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Citizen Champion and draw a card. Oh, that's nice. A blessing is not a gift, it is a duty. It's a 1/3. And another plains. And a 0/4 wall token artifact creature of type wall. Alright, I believe that was 3 down. Seven more to go. Are you having a good day? I'm having a good day. I hope you're having a good day. I left work early today. I got myself a haircut because I hadn't done that for like 3 months and it was getting very long. Oh, my laptop screen just shut off, but gotta wake it back up. Alright. Wings of Hubris. 2 colorless artifact equipment. Wing equipped creature has flying. Sacrifice Wings of Hubris. Equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Equip for 1 colorless. Pay 1 colorless and attach to target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Dalikus's invention worked until it didn't. Ooh boy. Fruit of Theros. 1 black sorcery. Nom 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 nom. Target player loses 2 life. Escape 3 colorless and a black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. 1 spiny tree with bitter fruit grows in the realm of Theros, outside the palace of Erebos. Heliod's. We're just going to pretend like we saw nothing. I mean, I didn't actually see anything because I don't have eyes. And also I have a giant microphone in my face. Heliod's Pilgrim, 2 colorless and a white human cleric creature. When Heliod's Pilgrim enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an aura card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So 1/2. Towering Wave Mystic. 1 colorless and 1 blue. Creature, Merfolk Wizard. Whenever Towering Wave Mystic deals damage, target player puts that many cards from the top of their library into their graveyard. Thassa's favor followed him to the underworld. Even the waves of Nerono obeyed his will. It's a 2/1. Elite Instructor. 2 colorless and a blue human wizard creature. It's a 2/2. When Elite Instructor enters the battlefield, draw a card, then discard a card. The greatest minds in Meletis study under the masters at the Dikatia, a renowned school of magic and philosophy. Arena Trickster, 3 colorless and a red human shaman creature. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Arena Trickster. It's not enough to surprise your opponent. You have to delight in the crowd as well. You have to delight the crowd as well. Oh boy, it's a 3/3. Gift of Strength, 1 colorless and 1 green. Instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. The Nessian Wood is never without defenders. It's just a slightly different giant growth. Stampede Rider. 2 colorless and a red. Satyr creature. Trample. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Stampede Rider gets +1/+1 until end of turn. To a satyr, a stampede is just another kind of revelry. Say 2/3. Captivating Unicorn. 4 colorless and a white unicorn creature with Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature an opponent controls. Gazing at the unicorn, I felt closer to the majesty of Nyx than I ever had before, said Oeneus, traveling merchant. It's a 4/4 horse. Heroes of the Revel. 4 colorless and a red. Satyr soldier creature. When Heroes of the Revel enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 red satyr creature token with this creature can't block. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Heroes of the Revel, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Brashness is close enough to bravery. It's a 4/4. I'm just gonna let this boy in so he stops crying. Oh, there he is. I was about to be upset because I opened the door for him and he just looked at it. Sweet Oblivion. One white, one colorless, and a blue. Sorcery. Excuse me, I'm very burpy tonight, I don't know why. Target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Escape 3 colorless and a blue. Exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. When memory is torment, oblivion is bliss. Staggering Insight. Enchant creature. It's an enchantment. It's an aura enchantment. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Only cowards flee from the truth, said Parasophia. Parasophia, the philosopher. We got Treacherous Blessing, 2 colorless and a black enchantment. When Treacherous Blessing enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. When Treacherous Blessing becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. This doesn't sound like a very good card. Finax is generous with gifts and unforgiving of debts. Doesn't sound very good, but what do I know? Ooh, we got a foil. Towering Wave Mystic. Wasn't that the first card we got in this? Never mind, I'm not gonna look. 1 colorless and 1 blue. Merfolk Wizard creature. Whenever Towering Wave Mystic deals damage, target player puts that many cards from the top of their library into their graveyard. I think it's interesting. So you could just have them smack your opponent and mill them out forever. I like the sound of that. Thus's favor followed him to the underworld. Even the waves of Nerona obeyed his will. And we got another forest. And a 1/1 human soldier creature token. On to the next one. We have 6 remaining. Oh, it's been a long time since I've just talked this much straight. My voice is getting a little tired. My laptop's getting a little dead too. I might just take a real quick pause and plug it in. Who's this? We'll have to wait and see. You won't wait, but I will. Alright, I am back. My laptop is charging, and we have Omen of the Dead. 1 black enchantment. Flash. When Omen of the Dead enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Pay 2 colorless and a black. Sacrifice Omen of the Dead. Scry 2. My time will come when life's frantic striving will fade into the boundless quiet of death. Rumbling sentry, 3 colorless and 2 white. Giant creature, 36. And when rumbling a sentry enters the battlefield, scry 1. To provoke the mountains is to invite an avalanche. There's that person again. Parasophia, the philosopher. Traveler's Amulet, 1 colorless artifact. Pay 1 and sacrifice Traveler's Amulet. Search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. A vision of home and a glimpse of hope. It's interesting. Temple Thief, 1 colorless and 1 black. Human Rogue. Temple Thief can be blocked by enchanted creatures or enchantment creatures. I don't know if the gods watch over their temples, but I figure it's best to be stealthy just in case. Satutu. Stern Dismissal. And the cat is on the table. This is why I did not want him in here. Because he is a demon. But he's a cutie. Stern Dismissal, 1 blue, instant. Return target creature or enchantment and opponent controls to its owner's hand. Cities offer tribute to Ivara and carve her image into their walls, imploring her to protect them from the dangers of the wild. Satyr's Cunning, 1 red sorcery. Create a 1/1 red satyr creature token. With this creature can't block. Escape 2 colorless and a red. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. It's hard to keep a satyr down, even in the underworld. Omen of the Hunt, 2 colorless and a green. Enchantment. When Omen of the Hunt enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Pay 2 colorless and a red. Sacrifice Omen of the Hunt. Scry 2. My time will come when no road will divide the endless verdure of the trees. Sorry, I don't know what that word is. Omen of the Sea, 1 colorless and 1 blue. Enchantment with flash. When Omen of the Sea enters the battlefield, scry 2, then draw a card. 2 colorless and a blue. Sacrifice Omen of the Sea. Scry 2. My time will come when the rising tide will surge above the tallest mountains. They all start with my time will come. That's neat. Nexus Wardens. 2 colorless and a green. It's a satyr archer creature with reach. So 1/4. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life. The Summer Nexus is a holy grove in the Setessa, where the star fields of Nyx glitter in the shadows. So Naiad of the Hidden Coves. Naiad of the Hidden Coves, rather. 2 colorless and a blue. it's not your turn, spells you cast cost 1 colorless less to cast. Waveborn, he watches over secrets of the shore. Similia, Elysian poet, 2/3. Entrancing Lyre, 3 colorless artifact. You may choose not to untap Entrancing Lyre during your untap step. Pay X and tap. Tap target creature with power X or less. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step for as long as Entrancing Lyre remains tapped. Its strings are wayward threads of fate. Oh boy. Reverent Hoplite, 4 colorless and a white. Human soldier creature. When Reverent Hoplite enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens equal to your devotion to white. Each white in the mana costs of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to white. Zeal is the sharpest blade, and piety is the strongest shield. So 1/2. Mystic Repeal, 1 green, instant. Put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. No power is too great to be undone. Karametra, god of the harvest. Who's the rare? Thrix, the sudden storm. 3 colorless and 2 blue. It's a legendary elemental giant creature. 4/5 with flash and flying. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 colorless less to cast and can't be countered. Even in their mountain fortresses, the Acroans have learned not to anger Thassa. And a mountain. I like these lands. They're neat. Ooh. And we got a star 1 elemental creature token with trample and haste. Neat stuff. I'm gonna stop whispering now because of reasons. No real reason. Okay. Traveler's Amulet, 1 colorless artifact. Pay 1 and sacrifice Traveler's Amulet. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. A Vision of Home, a glimpse of hope. Underworld Charger, 2 colorless and a black. Nightmare Horse creature. Underworld Charger, can't block. Escape, 4 colorless and a black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Underworld Charger escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It's a 3/3. Sentinel's Eyes, 1 white. Aura enchantment. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Escape, 1 white. Exile 2 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Wings of Hubris, 2 colorless. Equipment artifact. Equipped creature has flying. Sacrifice Wings of Hubris. Equipped creature can't be blocked this turn. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Equip for 1 colorless. Pay 1 colorless and attach to target creature you control. Equip only as a sorcery. Dalikos's invention worked until it didn't. Final Flare, 2 colorless and a red instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or enchantment. Final Flare deals 5 damage to target creature. Those who fought without honor in life are taken into Agonus. Without honor in their life are taken to Agonus and doomed to fight forever in its arenas. Loathsome Chimera, 2 colorless and a green. It's a chimera creature, as the name might imply. It's a 4/1 with escape. 4 colorless and a green. And exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Loathsome Chimera escapes with a +1/+1 counter on it. I see elk and lion and teeth. A lot of teeth. Terraclos of Melitus. Oh yeah, that is a lot of teeth. Feels almost abnormally thick. Ichthyomorphosis. 2 colorless and a blue. Aura enchantment. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and has bluefish. And is bluefish with base power and toughness 0/1. Take this as military career was a flop. Hero of the Games. 2 colorless and a red human soldier creature. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Games, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Winners of the Iroan Games are forever remembered as heroes of their people. Say 3/2. Moss Viper. 1 green snake creature with death touch. Nylea watches over all creatures of the forest, except for the snakes. Blessed by Faraka, they can take care of themselves. Say 1/1. Final Death. 4 colorless and a black instant. Exile target creature. The underworld erodes memory. I can't believe he's still crying. He probably just wants attention. I'll give him some after this. Instant. Exile target creature. The underworld erodes memory, identity, and eventually the physical form, leaving only crumbling statues called Misera, hollow monuments to mortal futility. 1 with the stars. 3 colorless and a blue. Aura enchantment. Enchant creature or enchantment. Enchanted permanent is an enchantment and loses all other card types. It still has its abilities, but it's no longer a creature. Take your place among the stars. Krufix, God of Horizons. Mire Triton. 1 colorless and 1 black. Zombie merfolk creature. It's a 2/1 with death touch. When Mire Triton enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard and you gain 2 life. Caught between life and death, between land and sea, between thought and oblivion. Fairies Band Brawler. 4 colorless and 2 green. Centaur warrior creature. It's a 4/4. When Fairies Band Brawler enters the battlefield, It fights up to one target creature you don't control. Each deals damage equal to its power to its other. To the other. Das's Intervention. X colorless and 2 blue. Instant. Choose one. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put up to 2 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Or counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X. I bring a flood that nothing can withstand. Nice. And we got another plains and a 2/2 zombie creature token. Alright. 6 down. 4 to go. My bad. My camera keeps seeing people's faces and being like, is that a face? Am I doing it right? Anyway. Scavenging Harpy. 2 colorless and a black harpy creature with flying. Say 2/1. When Scavenging Harpy enters the battlefield, exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. Desecrating the dead is a convenient way for harpies to expand their foul collections. Nyxborn Courser. 1 colorless and 2 white. Enchantment creature, Centaur Scout. It's just a 2/4. Storms drove them westward to fight Cataphos. Wide plains shimmered in the starlight. Centaurs greeted them, offering gold-hued apples and grain cakes. The Calaphea. Thaumaturge's Familiar. 3 colorless. Bird artifact creature. 1/3 with flying. When Thaumaturge's Familiar enters the battlefield, scry 1. Malician mages can't claim the title of Thaumaturge until they have received a gift or omen from the gods. Afara likes to give tangible tokens to her of her favor. Cool. Nyxborn Marauder, 2 colorless and 2 black. Enchantment creature, Minotaur. It is just a 4/3. Caliphate guided them into the darkness of Hetos, the bleak mire. Blood-horned minotaurs circled them. Axes a glimmer in shadow. The Caliphate. Also feels abnormally thick. Wrap in Flames, 3 colorless and a red. Sorcery. When Wrap in Flames deals 1 damage to each of up to 3 target creatures. Those creatures can't block this turn. Citizen Training. 1 colorless and 1 red. That is not red, that is green. 1 colorless and 1 green. R enchantment. Enchant creature you control. When Citizen Training enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature gets +1/+0 and has trample. In the heart of Cetessa, the warriors of Lena Tower defend the polis and train its daughters. Thirst for Meaning. 2 colorless and a blue. Instant. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards, unless you discard an enchantment card. A Sip of Recollection. An ocean of regrets. That's good. Irreverent revelers. 2 colorless and a red satyr creature. Say 2/2. When irreverent revelers enters the battlefield, choose one. Destroy target artifact, or irreverent revelers gains haste until end of turn. Voracious Typhon. 2 colorless and 2 green snake beast creature. With escape, 5 colorless and 2 green. Escape, exile 4 other cards from your graveyard. Voracious Typhon enters with escapes with 3 +1/+1 counters on it. A Typhon's escape from the underworld makes armies flee and kingdoms fall. It's a 4/4. Hero of the Pride. Colorless and a white cat soldier creature. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of the Pride, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. 2/2. Leonin fight for neither god nor polis. Their loyalty is to their pride. Mirror Shield. 2 colorless. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +0/+2 and has hexproof, and whenever a creature with Death Touch blocks or becomes blocked by this creature, destroy that creature. Equip for 2 colorless. Ooh, this is neat. 1 colorless and 1 blue. As this saga, oh, I didn't read the name. Medomai's Prophecy. As this saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Sacrifice after 4. 1. Scry 2. 2. Choose a card name. 3. When you cast a spell with the chosen name for the first time this turn, draw 2 cards. 4. Look at the top card of each player's library. It is a saga enchantment. That's neat. Archon of Falling Stars. 4 colorless and 2 white. Archon creature. 4/4 with flying. When Archon of Falling Stars dies, you may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. The Archon fell like a rising star from the sky. Like a star from the sky. Meeting the rising sun at the horizon's edge. From the cosmogony, I don't know. Ooh, oh, shoot. Calyx, Destiny's Hand. 2 colorless, a green, and a white. Legendary Planeswalker, Calyx. Oh. Starts with 4 counters. His +1 says, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal an enchantment card from among them and put that card in your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's -3. Exile target creature or enchantment you don't control until target enchantment you control leaves the battlefield. It's -7. Return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. To the battlefield. Wow. Alright then. And a pretty looking island. I like this. This is nice. And a 1/1 satyr creature token. well, I'd say this was a pretty good fat pack overall, and we still have 3 boosters left. I was just really hoping that Bronze Sable would make a comeback, but looks like that one did not survive death. Moving on. Omen of the Dead. 1 black enchantment with flash. Omen of the Dead. Oh, I realized I wasn't talking into the mic just then. Okay. When Omen of the Dead enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Sacrifice Omen of the Dead and pay 2 colorless and a black. Scry 2. My time will come when life's frantic striving will fade into the boundless quest of death. Flicker of Fate. A colorless and a white instant. Exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner control. As infinite journey in an infinitesimal time. An infinite journey in an infinitesimal time. I'm really bad at reading right now. Which is kind of bad for this whole shtick, you know? Altar of the Pantheon. 3 colorless. Artifact. Your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a god, a demigod, or a legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. Fruit of Theros. 1 black. Sorcery. Target player loses 2 life. Escape. 3 colorless and a black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. 1 spiny tree with bitter fruit grows in the realm of Theros, outside the palace of Erebos. Captivating unicorn. 4 colorless and a white unicorn creature. Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. Gazing at the unicorn, I felt closer to the majesty of Nyx than I ever had before, said Oeneus, traveling merchant. It's a 4/4. Stern Dismissal. 1 blue. It's an instant. Return target creature or enchantment and opponent controls to its owner's hand. Cities offered tribute to Ifara and carve her image into their walls, imploring her to protect them from the dangers of the wild. Portent of Betrayal. 3 colorless and a red. Sorcery. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. Mogus can fan a small flame of resentment into an inferno of madness. Omen of the Hunt. 2 colorless and a green. Enchantment. Flash. When Omen of the Hunt enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. 2 colorless and a green. Sacrifice Omen of the Hunt. Scry 2. My time will come when no road will divide the endless verdure of the Tweez. Brine Giant. 6 colorless and a blue. Giant creature. This spell costs 1 colorless less to cast for each enchantment you control. The oracles of Meletis foresaw neither its rise from the depths nor the destruction it would leave in its wake. It's a 5/6. Stampede Rider. 2 colorless and a red. Satyr creature with trample. Say 2/3. At the beginning of each combat, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, Stampede Rider gets +1/+1 until end of turn. To a satyr, a stampede is just another form of revelry, another kind of revelry. Dream Shaper Shaman. 5 colorless and a red. Enchantment creature, Minotaur Shaman. It's a 5/4. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 2 colorless and a red and sacrifice a non-land permanent. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Magic is the true artist's medium. I'm sure all of the artists they hire to make drawings for the cards say that. Acolyte of Affliction. 2 colorless, a black, and a red. Human cleric creature. When Acolyte of Affliction enters the battlefield, put the top 2 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then you may return a permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. The best healers are intimately familiar with death. It's a 2/3. Oh, you didn't see that. Clothis' Design. 5 colorless and a green. Sorcery. Creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. Each green in the mana costs of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to green. The God of Destiny grants her followers vision deeper than sight. Idyllic Tutor. 2 colorless and a white. Sorcery. Search your hand for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. You are loved, child. And an island, and a 2/2 zombie creature token. Cool. 2 more to go. Oh. Flicker of Fate. 1 colorless and 1 white. Instant. Exile target creature or enchantment, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. An infinite journey is an infinitesimal time. Infinitesimal. That's a hard word for me to say for some reason. Rage Scarred Berserker. 4 colorless and a black. Minotaur Berserker creature. It's a 5/4. When Rage Scarred Berserker enters the battlefield, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Damage and all effects that say destroy don't destroy it. The fury of the slaughter god Mogus burns within him. Discordant Piper. 1 colorless and 1 black. Zombie satyr creature. When Discordant Piper dies, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. The death of the party. It's a 2/1. Karametra's Blessing. 1 white instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's an enchanted creature or enchantment creature, it also gets hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. That's pretty tasty. Infuriate. 1 red instant. Target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn. Wow, so this is like strictly better than Titan's Strength, huh? Renata launched 12 arrows into the Minotaur's thick hide, but the monster didn't slow its charge. The fury of Mogus was upon it. Lufia of Setessa, Histories. Moss Viper. 1 green. It's a snake creature with Death Touch. It is a 1/1. Nylea watches over all the creatures of the forest, except for the snakes. Blessed by Faraka, they can take care of themselves. Revoke Existence. This is the first card I actually recognize out of this entire stack. 1 colorless and 1 white. Sorcery. Exile target artifact or enchantment. The time has come for us to throw off the chains of tyrannical gods and antiquated superstitions, says Takaya, disciple of Eurimedes. Nyxborn Colossus. 3 colorless, 3 green. Giant enchantment creature. It's a 6/7. Tree-tall giants confronted her, fiercely demanding her tribute. Fox-cunning Caliphaes slippery speaking, entangled their senses. The Caliphia. Vexing Gull. 2 colorless and a blue. Bird creature with flash and flying. Say 2/2. May the skies be clear of gales and gulls. Meletian prayer. Odrid, the mountains blaze. Odrid of mountains blaze even. 1 colorless and 1 red. Nymph enchantment creature. Say 1/3. And if you pay 2 and 1 red and discard a card, you may draw a card. Flame wrapped, she dances a burning swath amid the clouds. Samila, Meletian poet. Faraka's Spawn. 3 colorless and a black. Gorgon creature. It's a 3/4 with escape. 5 colorless and a black. Exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. Faraka's Spawn escapes with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. When it enters the battlefield this way, each opponent sacrifices a non-Gorgon creature. Underworld Fires. 1 colorless and 1 red. Sorcery. Underworld Fires deals 1 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. The Underworld is anything but a resting place. Grey Merchant of Asphodel. 3 colorless and 2 black. Zombie creature. It's a 2/4. When Grey Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to life lost this way. Oh shoot. And our rare is Gallia of the Endless Stance. 1 red and 1 green. Legendary creature, Satyr. With haste. Other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and have haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards. There's no success like excess. It's a 2/2. And we got a swamp finally. And a satyr creature token with this creature can't block. Last one. Altar of the Pantheon. 3 colorless artifact. Your devotion to each color and each combination of colors is increased by 1. Tap. Add 1 mana of any color. If you control a god, a demigod, or a legendary enchantment, you gain 1 life. Soul Reaper of Mogus. 2 colorless and a black. Say Minotaur Shaman enchantment creature. Pay 2 colorless and a black and sacrifice a creature. Draw a card. Say 2/3. We offer to Mogus the blood of the weak, and in return he makes us strong. Sunmane Pegasus. 3 colorless and a white. Pegasus creature with flying. Say 2/3. Pay 1 colorless and 1 white. Sunmane Pegasus gains vigilance and lifelink until end of turn. Chosen by Heliod, Daxus approached the Pegasus without fear and rode it without saddle or reins. Eidolon of Philosophy. 1 colorless. That's not true. It's 1 blue. Spirit enchantment creature. Pay 6 colorless and a blue. Sacrifice Eidolon of Philosophy. Draw 3 cards. And what did Aracastus teach us is the nature of the soul. It's a 1/2. Plummet. 1 colorless and 1 green. Instant. Destroy target creature with flying. An arrow from Nylia's bow never fails to find its mark. Flummoxed Cyclops. 3 colorless and a red Cyclops creature. It's a 4/4 with reach. Whenever 2 or more creatures your opponents control attack, Flummoxed Cyclops can't block this combat. A Cyclops thinks slowly but strikes quickly. To keep it thinking. Try to keep it thinking. Brigoni, Soldier of Meletus. Cetizen Skirmisher. 1 colorless and 1 green. Human warrior creature. It's a 2/1 with Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, Citizen Skirmisher gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Basara, the Tower of the Fox, houses the elite skirmishers who guard the Nessian Wood against trespassers. Nyxborn Sea Guard, 2 colorless and 2 blue, merfolk soldier enchantment creature. It's just a 2/5. Storm-tossed and broken, the Caliphate cried out to deep-dwelling Thassa. Tritons came swiftly to save her, bringing her north to the Lindus. Thrill of Possibility, 1 colorless and 1 red, instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. Right now, in these first moments of creation, it is simultaneously nothing and everything. Relentless Pursuit, 2 colorless and a green. Sorcery, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a creature card and or a land card from among them into your hand. Put the rest onto your graveyard. Calix was patient, steadily following Elspeth until their destined confrontation. Illyrios, Enraptured, 2 colorless and a blue. It's a legendary human creature. Illyrios Enraptured enters the battlefield tapped. Illyrios doesn't untap during your untap step if you control a reflection. When Illyrios enters the battlefield, create a 3/2 reflection creature token. He is a 2/3. Why would I ever want to look away? Oh, this poor boy. Rise to Glory. 3 colorless, a white, and a black. Sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, or return target aura card from your graveyard to the battlefield. A hero dies, and a legend arises. And finally, just kidding, one more. The Birth of Meletis. 1 colorless and a white. After this saga enters, as this saga enters, and after your draw step, add a lore counter. Sacrifice after 3. 1. Search your library for a basic plains card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. 2. Create a 0/4 colorless wall artifact creature token with Defender. 3. You gain 2 life. It's a saga enchantment. And our last rare, Shatter the Sky. 2 colorless and 2 white. Sorcery. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card. Then destroy all creatures. When the gods go to war, mortals pay the highest price. And we got a mountain. And we got a 0/1 goat creature token. Cool. Alright. I think we did good. I think we did real good.